economic situation that we're facing, the financial conditions that we have in our country, and the responsibility that we have as lawmakers. This inflation is real. It's harming people. It's 7.5%. That's a tax. And it continues to increase. It's not decreasing. So the feds have to step.
Gas prices are rising across the country, and analysts are warning that the American people are going to face a new record high for gas prices. And the lawmakers are stepping up right now to provide low-income residents with a new type of payment. These checks range from $50 to even $150 a month. Now, analysts are warning that drivers in the United States may actually face a repeat of last summer's high gas prices, with the fuel stockpiles heading toward multi-year lows ahead of the peak summer driving season that begins in a couple of months. And retail gas prices, now averaging $3.50 a gallon nationwide, have hit a record of $5 a gallon last June. That comes as crude oil prices jumped and the waning of crisis travel curbs unleashed a pent-up travel demand. But vehicle travel in the United States started the year 5.6% higher than last year, leading to a drop in gas stockpiles for 5 straight weeks. Last week's 6 million barrel drawdown was the biggest since 2021. Leaving inventories at 230 million barrels and their lowest for this time of the year since 2015. Rising travel, coupled with declining inventories, could lift retail prices again this year, with last summer's $5 a gallon a possibility again. The surge's price is partly because of the U.S. refineries and that are deep into spring maintenance, which have reduced processing capacity following winter storm shutdowns at the end of last year. And this week, a first in the nation bill to punish oil companies for profiting from price spikes at the gas pump is passed through California Senate. It is urging the Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom to do something about this and help people, because Newsom has seen a possible presidential candidate for 2024. He reacted by attacking the oil industry, specifically the 5 companies that provided 97% of gas in the state. He asked the Democratic-controlled state legislature to pass a new tax on oil company profits, arguing it would protect consumers by preventing price spikes. This idea went nowhere in the bill, as lawmakers feared it would create chaos in the petroleum market and cause companies to make less gas, thus increasing prices. Instead, lawmakers and Newsom settled on a bill that would let the California Emergency Commission decide whether to impose civil penalties on oil companies for price gouging. In 10 years, the bill requires the state auditor to investigate the program to find out if it is working to reduce gas prices. If it's not, the auditor can program the bill to be shut down. Lawmakers have 6 months to review this decision and reverse it if they choose.
In our country. And let me thank all of our panelists for being with us. And let me thank the senators who I know are going to be filtering in as the hearing progresses. My understanding is that Ranking Member Lindsey Graham has a scheduling conflict and will be making his opening statement after our witnesses testify. Is that right? Yep. Okay. Social Security is, I think, as everybody knows, one of the most popular and successful.
Huge news. There is a new stimulus schedule for eligible Social Security, SSI, and SSDI recipients. President Biden has confirmed that he will be taking executive action to address the rising cost of living across the country. Now, here's some big news from the Biden administration. The Transportation Secretary told CNN that President Biden is working to fortify the economy amid steep inflation with efforts to shore up the supply chain and invest in the capacity of our economy to keep up with demand. He also stated the president made clear inflation is his top economic priority, and he's laid out a very clear strategy for doing that. So this is really good news, everybody, as inflation continues to reach record highs. So Buttigieg said the administration will continue to take the steps that are both on the price side and on the growth side to keep the economy strong. An ABC News poll shows the economy and inflation are top of the mind for voters ahead of the midterms. According to the poll, only 37% of Americans approve of Biden's handling of the economic recovery. The current inflation rate is 8.3%. And Buttigieg told CNN that the president has proposed a number of things to help improve the economy that could be passed by Congress, including lowering the cost of insulin, childcare, and housing. These measures make a difference no matter what happens. It will make life easier for Americans who are facing these economic question marks. Gas prices, which are at a record high after increasing for months, are also a concern heading to the summer travel season. The current nationwide average is about $4.84 a gallon. About 2 months ago, Biden announced plans to release 1 million barrels of oil per day from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, saying that at the time, he expected this to bring down gas prices. In early April, executives testified before Congress, disputing the argument that they are price gouging customers. They claimed the situation is complex and that the near-term increase in the supply of oil and natural gas could help. And the Hawaii governor proposed sending a tax rebate to every Hawaii taxpayer. Taxpayers earning less than $100,000 per year would receive $300, and those earning more than $100,000 per year will receive $100. The Hawaii legislature has approved the rebate, but details for distribution have not been released. Payments may begin processing in late August, according to the State Department of Taxation. Also, Idaho Governor Brad Little signed a bill that allocates $350 million for tax rebates to people in Idaho. There are two criteria for eligibility: full-time residency and filed 2020 tax returns, or a full-time residency and a grocery credit refund return. Each taxpayer will receive around $75 or 12% of your 2020 Idaho state taxes, whichever is greater. The rebate is also applicable to each individual taxpayer and each dependent. The tax commission will first issue rebates to taxpayers who received refunds via direct deposit, then send paper checks as well. Like Idaho, Indiana found itself with a healthy budget surplus at the end of 2021. The governor announced that Indiana taxpayers will get a $125 one-time tax refund after they file their 2021 taxes. There is no income requirement, and residents must have filed a state tax return for the year 2020 by January 3rd, 2022 as well. Folks, do you think that President Biden is doing all that it takes to send the fourth stimulus check, or do you think he needs to do a better job on this?
Successful government programs in the history of our nation. For more than 80 years, in good times and bad, Social Security has paid out every benefit owed to every eligible American on time and without delay. And I think it's important to make that point. We live in a moment of great insecurity, and yet Social Security, since its inception, has never failed the American people and remains a program enormously important to them and one that they can rely upon. Not once over more than 8 decades of operation, not during the pandemic that we're in, not during the Wall Street crash, has anyone ever received a letter or a phone call from the Social Security Administration saying, sorry, the economy is not doing well, we need to cut your benefits. Never happened. And if I have anything to say about it, it never will happen. Today, while many people take Social Security for granted, it's been around for a long time, let us remember, before Social Security was created in 1935, about half of our nation's seniors were living in poverty. Today, though the poverty rate is still too high for seniors, that rate is just 8.9%. 50% before Social Security, less than 9% today. Got to do better, but that is a significant improvement. Without Social Security, it is estimated that some 22 million Americans, including more than 16 million seniors, would be living in poverty. Yet, despite this
Jonathan, I